All right. Hi folks, I'm Bradley J and we're at the Springfield Hartness State Airport and we're gonna actually have a glider lesson. We're gonna learn how to fly a glider. But I want to talk a little bit about the organization that I'm dealing with today, and we're going to start with Ben. Ben, what's your last name?
Ben Berg, B-E-R-G.
Ben, tell me about the organization and how you get involved.
So the New England Soaring Association is the local glider club here out of Springfield, Vermont, made up of probably 40-45 members, all glider pilots who love soaring and really like to share those experiences with other people. So we have 1 tow plane and 4 gliders, 2 single-seaters and 2 training gliders that we use to train people to fly. And
what's involved in getting your license?
So you have to fly with an instructor for a while. I flew with an instructor for about 30 flights before going solo, and building solo time. Critiquing your skills by yourself is something that's really important, and getting better solo. And then once you have a few solo flights, probably 20, 30, it's different for every person, then you can move on to take the 3-part check ride through the FAA, which gets you your actual license, and that consists of a written exam, an oral exam, and a flight exam. Now we have Bill Batesel here, who is an instructor, a glider instructor, a soaring instructor, and he's going to talk a little bit about the history of this club, the history of soaring, and the history of this actual model of glider. Bill?
Hello everybody, and welcome to Springfield, Vermont, Hartness State Airport. And we have a club here called New England Soaring Association, and this club has been in New England since 1951, so we're at 70-year point.
Let's take a look at the cockpit and learn a little bit about the controls. Can we do that, Bill?
Oh, certainly.
Look at how beautiful it is. You must have just refurbished this baby.
Oh, we just got it flying less than 2 months ago, and I had a fun time doing it.
You're right, orange is great.
It is. I always wanted to paint an airplane orange, so this was my opportunity. So we got it done, and it's a sweet flying sailplane. It's very basic, and that's what we like.
So what do we see as far as controls?
Okay, so we have the standard control stick that you would find in an airplane. More modern airplanes have control wheels, but they do the same thing. The 2 basic controls of the stick are the elevator, which is going to change your pitch in the glider, descend, climbing, and it's basically used flying with our airspeed control. And that elevator is in the back that moves up and down. The other control in here are ailerons. This moving to the left would put you in a left bank, and moving it to the right would put you in a right bank. And the third control is the rudder pedals. You can see those in there, and they're used in conjunction with the aileron when you start a turn and ending a turn. It's kind of like the rudder on a boat. It actually gets you turning, and the bank that you create with your ailerons are what keep you in the turn.
How about the dive brake?
The dive brakes, these are wonderful little devices. So I get asked very often, well, you don't have an engine, how do you control your landing? How does this happen? And these dive brakes, also called spoilers, open above and below the wing. And you can see them. Here's one above, and there's below on both wings. And what they do is they actually help you descend faster without really changing the flight characteristics of the glider.
Okay folks, we're going to get going here, and there's the tow plane over there. We'll talk about that plane a little later. And now we're going to get hooked up with the tow rope. Can you bring the rope right over here? This is, not a very thick rope. It's obviously strong enough, but we'll talk more about that later. Thank you.
And wings are level, which tells the tow pilot that we're ready to take the slack out of the rope. And our wing runner, Colby, is giving signals to the tow plane. And when the rope is taut, I'm going to waggle the rudder which is the signal we're ready to go.
This part is always a rush. Well, maybe not for you because you've been doing it since you were 15. But trust me, first time you do this, it's a rush. And if there happens to be a
We're already in the air. It doesn't take us long.
good. And it's my understanding that it's a bumpy day.
A little bumpy today.
So Bill, what does a pilot be thinking about at this time?
Well, I'm going to be following, it's like formation flying on the tow plane. I'm going to do just what he does. It's like a military pilot flying formation. We have a 200-foot rope, and when the tow plane's straight and level, I'm straight and level.
One thing that people talk about is how quiet it is in a glider. And it's really not that quiet.
It's not that quiet. The more modern, tightly sealed canopies have less wind noise than this glider does. So we're also flying pretty fast on tow, and once we get off tow, we'll be flying about 20 miles an hour slower, and it will be quieter.
For those of you who are new to this, like me, you have to remember to breathe.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and when you get a real different sensation like this, and it's bumpy, you forget you're strapped in well, and you forget to breathe.
Yeah. Well, you got to breathe. That's important.
While we're cruising here, what are we seeing?
So I'm just following the tow plane, and you can see the fall colors are just a little bit past peak at this point. It'd be nice if the sun was shining on them.
What advice do you give about your position compared to the plane, the tow plane?
We're flying with the tow plane basically on the horizon. And this puts us above the turbulence from the propeller called the prop wash. This is called high tow position. So again, I just follow him. He's in a little bit of a turn. I'm in a little bit of a turn.
How fast are we going?
Well, we're going about 65 to 70 miles an hour. And once we get off tow, we'll be flying about 45 miles an hour. So we'll get quieter, I guarantee.
Folks, this red knob is the release knob. When prompted by Bill, I will pull that and you'll see, I really want you to see the rope shoot out as
the rope goes, and then the tow plane dives away, makes a descending turn to the left. We make a little turn to the right to stay clear.
Okay. And tell me, go ahead.
We're the ones that release the rope, and then the tow plane brings the rope back down all through the landing.
Tell me about the very few gauges that I see here. On my left.
On the left is the altimeter, which is how high we are actually above sea level. And so we're going to go up to probably 2,500 feet above the ground. Then there's a radio, and in the middle there's an air vent, and below that a compass. And then to the right of that is our airspeed indicator. And to the far right there is what's called a variometer. It's a very sensitive rate of climb. We use that instrument to help us find the lift and stay in the lift.
All right. And once released, what are we going to try to do? What are our goals?
Well, our goals are just to hopefully find a little rising air that we can extend our flight. We don't have a lot of sunshine today, and so it's a little difficult to have good thermals. But we're just going to fly around, do some basic turns and straight and level, and simple flying around the area.
Good. What mountain is that off to my 10 o'clock?
That's Mount Ascutney, and very close to the Connecticut River. It's a great mountain for sailplanes. There's always some rising air around it.
Now, once we release, what will my challenges be?
Well, we're going to release, get you familiar with the area a little bit. And then we'll let you do a little bit of flying. Put your hand on the controls and kind of get a feel for the flying. We're going to get off in just a couple hundred feet, and when we pull the release knob, it's going to make a bang noise, and it's kind of like a 22 going off. It's not real loud, but just so you know what it is. And that red knob that's in front of you, Bradley,
Yeah.
why don't you give it a on our own?
Okay, ready to release?
Ready to release.
Okay, watch the rope, people. Here we go, releasing. I can feel it
Watch
slow
the tow
down.
plane.
Yep, tow plane down to the left. We go up to the right.
There we go.
And that is just spectacular.
Now it gets a little quieter.
Yeah, we're going a lot more slowly and it's more relaxing. All right, folks, I'm going to put this camera away, pay attention to business, and Bill's going to fly us for a little bit while I pack away this stuff. We'll let you know how it goes. For you to know what happens after this point, in a first-hand manner, you're going to have to come up and you're going to have to take an introductory lesson. So, Bill, it's time to come in for a landing.
Yep.
Tell me about the way we set up for a landing.
Well, we're starting our downwind leg right now. We're picking up our speed a little bit, and we're flying opposite the way we're going to land. And we're going to control our rate of descent in the landing pattern with our spoilers.
How high should we be on
This
this?
is about right. We're at a good altitude right now.
So what are the three
It's our
portions?
downwind leg,
Downwind leg.
our base leg,
Okay.
which we're turning right now.
And at the berm, at the end of the runway, there's a drop. Why is that?
Well, that's where they built up the runway, and you can see the reservoir down below. So, and now we're lined up on final. We're going to land on the grass just where we took off.
And you hold off as long as you can, right?
Yeah, then we just hold it off and try to make a nice smooth touchdown for you. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And we just fly it till it stops.
Bill, thank you very much.
Okay, here comes the wing down. Plop.
Well, there you go. I'd like to thank Ben and Bill and the New England Soaring Association for giving me access to them and to the airport and to the wonderful experience of soaring. It is really something. If you're looking for some excitement, a challenge, something rewarding, you might want to consider it. You take care. If you like this video, please subscribe and click on the bell to get notified of future posts and rate it.